afternoon. We are live. You have joined us on the Blue Plate Special. I'm Andy Andrews, and we're here in Orange Beach, Alabama. Beautiful day today. It rained a little earlier, but it's a beautiful day. And we're at Wisdom Harbor Studios here at the Wharf, home of the famous Marlin statues and the infamous escalator statue. So when you visit us, you have to take your picture with us. You take a picture at Sand Dollar Lifestyles, like the shirt. That's a Sand Dollar Lifestyles shirt. So this is, which kind is this? This is Southern Class, authentic Southern Class. It has stuff on the back, and Sand Dollar Lifestyles has gajillions of shirts. They're the cornerstone of the Wharf, and you need to visit them. They have lots of stuff in there, and of course take your picture with the Marlin statues and take your picture with the escalator statues. If you're new to us, if you're just joining us for the first time, we're glad to have you here. And if you're on Facebook, click that notification button, and it's over on the side, and then also turn the notifications on your phone so that anytime we go live here at Wisdom Harbor, you will be notified that we are live. And if you're on Facebook, also, if you wouldn't mind, click that share button and share to your page. And what is live here will go live on your page, and so your friends can see it. And you can also share it after the show if you don't trust what's going to happen here and you're worried you might be embarrassed and you'd like to sit through it first, then share it. It's okay. It's okay. We can prove our trustworthiness here. Lunchtime, learning, and laughter, and we usually let you have the lunch and then we learn and laugh. But we would like you to share if you can. And if you are on YouTube, welcome, and click that subscription button. That would really help us a lot. And it will help you when you get on YouTube. You can just look and see a bunch of our junk, and you don't have to look for it. So the link of the Blue Plate Special is sponsored by Dr. Trace Manasco. And he is, I'm going to get this right. He is what you call an endodontist. Not just a regular dentist. He's a super dentist. So this is Dr. Trace Manasco, and this show is sponsored by him today. Otherwise, we would be like tearing down the building. But I will tell you about that procedure in just a little bit. First of all, we got some people we want to say hi to. Steve and Janice from Franklin, Tennessee. They are here. All right, we got a studio full of people here today. So Steve and Janice from Franklin. You know, I was talking to somebody the other night. I was at the Gaither Vocal Band reunion in Tulsa, and it's like the country music community is divided now. Half of them are in Franklin, and half of them are in Hendersonville on the north side. And so, you know, But I love Franklin. Franklin is a beautiful place. And then Mike and Teresa from Nashville. Hey, 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 hey. So you're right in the middle. Have we got anybody here from Hendersonville? No, no, no. I know Jimmy Yeary, the Isaacs live in Hendersonville. Ricky Skaggs, Allison Krause, Rich, a whole bunch of them. The Oaks, Monzel, Dwayne, Richard, William Lee, they all live up there. So, does anybody actually live in Nashville, or do they actually live and then they work? Yeah, okay. Do you guys live in Nashville? No, you don't either. I can't hear you, but you know, we should have the sound piped in here so I can hear instead of just out there. But you're like see, like Freddie and Peggy. Where's Freddie and Peggy? Freddie and Peggy. They're from Pelham. Now, see, they'll say Pelham and they'll say Franklin. Now, usually they would probably say Nashville and they would probably say Birmingham. But you guys just go right to it, just so we know. Because a lot of times people say, well, I'm from a place you never heard of. Really? Try me. Because I've heard of just about every place. I've just about been, that song that Johnny Cash did, I've Been Everywhere, he did, that was about me. That song was actually about me. And Gary and Karen from Ringgold, Georgia. All right. Good to see you guys. Is that North Georgia or South Georgia? North Georgia. Okay, in the mountains. Quail hunting in the south, mountains in the north. Okay, Shelley Hess, good afternoon. And Heather Olson in sunny Utah. All right. Have your guys gotten an elk yet, Heather? I'm just curious. Judith DeWitt from Spokane, Washington, 50 degrees here. It was 50 degrees the other day here, but it quickly got up to 150, as it usually does. Chuck Preislack, let's see what we have here. Yes, we are going to see what we have here. We got a dentistry show. Christy, my sister, Christy, and you have shared. Thank you, Christy. Margaret Davis Haupt, time for Andy. Yep, shared from Northeast Mississippi. Chris Comer, give me a howdy in your best Minnie Pearl impression, yeah. Deanna Kilpatrick, sorry. Good afternoon. And Diane Hale from Tennessee. We got them from all over. There's Lou Chin from China again. Linda Rogers Coleman from Central Texas. Gene McDonald. Man, it was good seeing Gene McDonald in Tulsa last week. We were at the Gaither Vocal Band reunion, and Gene McDonald is the bass. I mean, he is, man, that voice is low. Ron Reams, hey, buddy. Eva Jean Hodge from Elkin, North Carolina. Glad you like the shirt. You know, Gene, I don't know if I told you this when we were there, but I've been at that arena several times. I've performed in that arena several times. And it's in Tulsa. It's the big arena in Tulsa. It's on the campus of Oral Roberts University, and it's called the Mabee Center is the name of it. And it's just curious to me that they would name it that, because, you know, this is Oral Roberts University. This is the city of faith, and the biggest building in town is Mabee. So just kind of curious to me. Alan Glover from Oxford, North Carolina. Buddy Ayers, hi from Troy, and we're assuming that's Troy, Alabama, not ancient Troy. Time traveler, Betty Ayers. Okay, we want to get to the topic of the day, and the topic of the day is dentistry. And I feel I feel ready to present. I feel like I have that in me today to tell you some dentistry stories, to find out the truth about dentistry. I've had a love-hate relationship with dentistry my entire life, mostly hate. mostly hate. And I think that is because I had. Now, first of all, let me just tell you, I just got to tell you, the root canal. I'm kind of stunned because I had it 2 hours ago, and this office, Dr. Manasco, I told him when I left, I said, man, I'm dedicating the show to you guys today, because first of all, here's what happened. I had several weeks ago, I had a tooth right here that I was eating a piece of pecan pie, and I thought, wow, that's a hard piece of pecan. So I spit it out, and no, it was a piece of my tooth. So, yow. But it was kind of on the back side, and it didn't affect my dazzling smile. And I knew that I had a cleaning appointment, like in a week. And that was with Scott Coleman, my regular dentist. Now, Dr. Marcus Paul used to be my dentist for years and years and years, but he is semi-retired, living the life of luxury. He's like on the board of some big hospital, and he and his wife are traveling the world, and so they have neglected me. But Scott Coleman is a next-door neighbor, and so Scott, he's on it. But I knew, even though my tooth was like cracked off in my mouth, wasn't hurting that bad. It was a little sensitive to heat and cold and somebody looking at me, but I knew that I had a date with Scott cleaning, the hygienist and cleaning, and I would ask Scott about it then and just see kind of what happened. So when I went in, Scott, and I told him, and he looks and he goes, ooh. I'm like, you could have said anything but that. You say, wow, that looks great, but ooh, what does ooh mean? And he said, well, let's get some film on that. And so, they did. John Miller from Vestavia Hills is eating pecans while watching. Thank you. It's kind of honorary. Ron Reams has been there, done that with a broken tooth. So they get some film on it, and it's like half the tooth is cracked off, and so Scott says, well, I'm hoping we can save that and crown it. He said, I'm hoping. He said, I'm going to send you to a guy. He said, now this is my guy. He said, this is Dr. Trace Manasco, and he said, in 7 states, he said, this is the guy that I would go to for a root canal. He said, this is the guy. He's my guy. He said, now I can get you to a place closer if you want to in Pensacola. I said, no, send me to the guy. And he said, so I'm going to let him decide about the root canal. And I said, what do you mean decide about the root canal? And he said, well, a significant part of that tooth is broken off, and so he'll need to decide if he can save enough of that tooth. And then if he can, then I will put the crown on, and we'll be good to go. I said, okay, Scott, so what if he can't? He said, well, then we'll have to get another plan together, and I'll send you to another guy, and we'll have to have a consultation and then come back and put you under and do an extraction and a bone graft, and then we let that heal and then do a dental implant. So, ladies and gentlemen, this morning when I was driving to Dr. Manasco's office. It's the first time in my life I've ever been praying to God, please God, let me have a root canal. I mean, I was actually begging for a root canal. Oh, please let me have a root canal. And but I got there, and Karen was at the desk, and Karen, she had me fill out papers, and she's the one who says, would you like to pay cash for this, or would you like to mow Dr. Manasco's lawn for the rest of your life and clean his pool and polish his Rolls Royce? And so I opted to pay cash and just pay for the procedure. And so then I go back, and there's Jan, and she is very kind, puts a pillow behind my head and everything. And then Dr. Manasco comes in, and I'm telling you, I did have the gas. I did, because I'm kind of a chicken. So I did have the nitrous oxide. Okay, I did have that. And but then he started, doing the numbing and now granted, I was nervous because I actually had a root canal one time where the guy, when he got through, he said, if all of my patients were like you, I would quit. Really? And it was because he couldn't get me numb. And I bet if all of my patients were like you, I would quit. Well, that was like the horror story from hell, root canal. And so I'm going in today actually praying to have one, because I can imagine what, digging a tooth out and a bone graft and an implant. And they implant, Matt, do you know that when they implant, you get a choice of a dead person's tooth or a cow?
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Did you know that?
No.
I talked to Bill Gaither this morning when I was driving over. I talked to Bill and Gloria for like 40 minutes driving over, and Bill told me that because he's had implants.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
So
and I asked him. I said, what did you get? And he said, I asked him to decide and not to tell me.
I think I'd want the same thing.
Wow. Yeah. But he did say that every time he goes by a salt lick, he is like, Bill's like 10. But so anyway, I'm in there. I'm in the chair, and they put the chain over me and lock the padlocks. Not really. I mean, they did the gas and did the things, and then he kind of talked to me as he was doing it. And then they took another picture and sat me up. I'm telling you, it was relatively fast, but it was 100% painless. I mean, I'm kind of denumbifying right now, and I'm still not hurting. So, Dr. Trace Manasco gets they get the blue ribbon and the big trophy. Okay, and yeah, man, the dentist thing has just scared me forever. And I think it's because when I was a little kid, I had the smartest dentist and the dumbest dentist all wrapped into one person. I forget how old I was. I was like 6 or 7, and I went to the dentist and I had a bunch of cavities, and so I'm gonna have to go back and back and back and back and so when I went for the first cavity thing, I was nervous when they were cleaning my teeth and taking all the pictures and all this, but now I'm going back for the cavity thing. And the first and second times that I visited to get cavities filled, I had what I still consider one of the smartest dentists in the world. Because let me tell you what this guy did. I'm already scared to death. I'm a little kid. I'm scared to death. And so, you know, they put all that stuff on you and in your mouth, and so then he comes up, he comes in, he talks to me for a second, and I know now he has like hand behind his back. And so he says, okay, well, open up and let me see what we got here, you know. And he kind of leans on me and puts this arm like over my eyes like that, you know, just kind of does that. And then he's doing the shot, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it, and because he's going, hey, I'm trying to open up, and then, you know, I felt, and so he pulls out and takes the hand off and says, did that hurt a little bit? And I said, it did. He said, man, I am so sorry. He said, I didn't. My fingernail got you there. Nurse, would you get that emery board and would you sand that off? And she sanded it off, you know. And he said, okay, let me try again. I got this now. And so he leans his head over, arm over my head like that, and he puts the thing in there, and I went, And he said, what? Is it still? Is it? But you missed a place right here. Please get that right there. And so she does it, and he said, does that feel that? And I reached up and I felt it. He says, is that smooth now? Yes, sir. So he goes in. Now it's numb enough that he's able to do it. And he said, okay, well, we'll be back in just a second and going to make some noise in your mouth. And so, you know, filled my cavity. And all right. So 2 weeks later, I come back, get another one. I'm getting another one done. And he does the same thing. I still have the smart dentist. And he puts his hand over me and just that. Hey, the man, my fingernail got sharp here. And so she does it, and I mean, I'm buying it. I am buying it. Okay. Then the third time I come back, I don't know where the smart guy went, but the dumb guy that looked just like him showed up. And he walks up, and I don't know what he's thinking. I guess he's thinking, well, you know, he's an old pro by now, but I'm not. I mean, you got me believing something, and I'm behaving according to my belief. And he walks up, and he says, hey, Andy. I said, hey, how are you? And he's good. I said, what you got behind your back? And he said, this. And I went out of the chair on the other side. I mean, I poured like liquid out of the other side of the chair. And I kicked the nurse that was the hygienist that was over there. And of course, she backed away, and he's on the other side. And I poured like water over the side there. And I was out that door, and I ran out the back door. That the first door I saw, and I ran out the back door, and I ran all the way to our car. Now, my mother's in the waiting room, and so I ran all the way to the car, and back then, nobody's locking their car doors. And so I got in our car, and I locked all the doors. And so sure enough, you know, a couple minutes later, here comes my mama. And she's kind of laughing, and she says, Andy, unlock the doors. And so she tries to get me to do it. I'm not having any of it. And so then she goes and she gets the nurse, and she comes out and tries, and Nope. Well, my daddy, the minister, the church was like 4 blocks away. So after a little period of time, a little rest period inside the locked car, I saw my daddy come up. And my daddy leaned down to me, and I leaned toward him, and I heard him through the glass. He said, "Unlock that door right now." I did. I caved. And I can't remember the rest of it. I must have passed out. But, Lord. But, I mean, what was up with that dentist that he, is going to show a kid a needle it was that long. That needle was that long. The shot was like a shovel in his hand. And the needle was like this long. I was like, yeah, this. Oh, my God. Now, Polly, let me tell you about my wife. Polly hears that story, and she says, "Oh, well, when I was a little kid, I went to a dentist, and he filled our cavities and pulled our teeth without Novocaine." Like, no way. There's no way. I mean, Polly's like younger than I am. She would say much younger than I am. And so, I mean, this is modern dentistry, and there's no way. I mean, do you believe her?
I don't know. There's someone else.
Come on, you tell me that my wife is lying. Tell me.
I'm not going to tell you your wife is lying.
You have no guts, man.
Marcy Crossler Taylor on here, she said my dentist when I was growing up didn't use Novocaine or anything. Very painful. So.
There's no way. There's no way. Wait. I'll call her. I'll call Polly.
Okay.
I'm going to call Polly. And let's see. Let's see if I can. Have to tell her right away she's on speaker. Can y'all hear that?
Hello?
Hey, dear. This is me. I'm on speakerphone, and we're on the air, so don't cuss or anything.
Okay, thank you for the warning.
Okay. Listen, we're having a conversation here on the Blue Plate about dentistry. And so I told everybody my story about when I was a little kid and the dentist was filing his nails. You've heard that story.
Right.
But then I also told them how you try to trump me with your lie about your dentist doing dentistry on you guys without Novocaine. And that's not true, is it?
Oh, that trumps everybody's dentist story. Yes, it is true. Dr. Posey, Dr. Rudolph Posey, Philadelphia, Mississippi. You can ask Betty Joe, you can ask Mississippi Christie, you can ask any of us who were traumatized as children, who had our cavities filled with absolutely no Novocaine.
Well, now you've told me this before, but I thought you were kidding.
No, it's very true. Ask Betty the next time we're all together.
How old were you? How old were you? What?
Oh, I was a tiny child. When I started going to Dr. Posey, I stood up in the chair. And then I went to him every because you went to the dentist every 6 months or once a year, whatever it was back then. And, if I had a cavity, he filled it. So you would think I would have to be sedated to even walk into a dentist's office these days. But I don't. I mean, I don't have...
Well, what was he? Was he like out of prison or something?
No, I can still see him in his little white coat. I can still.
Oh, a white coat. He came from a mental institution.
As you would say, Vincent Price Memorial.
Yeah, Vincent Price Memorial.
No, he was great. We didn't have a dentist in our town.
No, wait a minute. Don't say he was great. He wasn't great. Was he? What would he put like a leech on your arm and bleed you too?
No, 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 no. But, you would think I would have, like, nightmares and stuff. But, to this day, if I am in the dentist office and I hear that little drill start up, even if it's in the next room and I know it's not going to be for me, I do have to take a deep breath when I hear that.
Well, that's like Marathon Man. Remember Laurence Olivier and Dustin Hoffman and him drilling through that too,
and
little Polly Young. I mean, that's like Marathon Man. That's like evil.
Oh, it wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, looking back now, I think, wow, that was. I don't know. But ask any of us. Anytime any of us are together, ask them.
I'm surprised you guys are sane. And the jury's out on that too, I know. But
there may be some debate about that. So how was your root canal?
I am dedicating this show to Dr. Manesco. He did great. It was like 100% painless. I mean, he talked to me, and it happened pretty fast, and he saved.
Now, to me, a root canal sounds like a massive undertaking. I don't even know what all that means. I've never had a root canal, thanks to my very fine childhood dentist, Dr. Posey.
Oh yeah.
So a root canal seems like something that's like a major deal to me, but apparently these days it's not as much of an undertaking as it used to be, maybe.
Oh my gosh, wait, Polly, listen to this. Jody Freitas just posted a link to Dr. Rudolph Posey Jr. and says his son must be practicing. Be careful.
He is. I think his son is still in that town.
Oh my gosh, nobody can get out. Well, today,
Dr. Posey Jr. is a fine dentist, and he is giving Novocaine, or whatever you do, whatever that little shot thing is that you get. And we never had, like, you always talked about getting, what's that laughing gas stuff?
Yeah, nitrous oxide.
Yeah, we never had that.
I guess not. If you didn't have Novocaine, I mean, what do? Hit you in the head with a bat?
No. Oh, and remember the dentist way back then? They had that little bowl, that little tiny white sink with the swirling water in it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the spit bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I went, when I went out of the chair, on the left side of that chair, I went under the bowl. I fled out of that chair like liquid, yeah. Yeah.
No, I would tell my mother, because in Dr. Posey's office, there were those little, remember those little horizontal windows that were up high in doctors' offices? Like you couldn't fly out of the window or anything. They were little tiny horizontal windows way up.
Kind of like jail cells? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. And I remember, because Underdog was a big cartoon in those days. I remember Underdog would take a pet pill.
Yep.
And I remember telling Mama, as we were sitting there waiting for him to come in, I'm going to take a pet pill and I'm going to fly out of that window just like Underdog. So maybe I was a little scared.
Dear. I can't believe your sweet mama would take you to the torture chamber.
It wasn't. We all went. I mean, it was, I think, you didn't know any better. And I don't remember it being a big, horrible experience. Maybe I've blocked it out.
I guess. Chet Calhoun has a root canal scheduled for this Monday. He says he can't wait. And Chet says he's had plenty of cavities filled with no Novocaine, and the slow speed cable driven drill stalled at times too. Oh my God, Chet, you must have been at Dr. Posey too. I can still hear that drill stalling, that. Oh God.
Yeah, that sounds can still, make me just have to stop and take a breath. So
You know, I talked to Bill and Gloria. I've already told everybody this, but I need to tell you. I talked to Bill and Gloria today when I was on the way to Dr. Monasco's, and I told him that I was praying for a root canal because I didn't want the implant, the bone graft, and all like that. And Bill said, "Have you ever had an implant?" And I said, "I have not." And he said, "I've had several, and they give you a choice of a dead person's tooth or a cow tooth." And I said, "Seriously?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "What did you choose?" He said, "I told the guy to choose and just not tell me." And so that's what he did. But every time he goes by a field and sees a salt lick, he kind of heads that way. So
pulls over. Oh, that's funny. Very good. Well, I'm glad you're doing fine from your root canal, and thanks for memory lane. And
yeah, I'm just sitting here with my friends and just thought I'd call you. So I love you.
hello to all, and I'm sure they all have some fond and not so fond memories of the dentist. So
I'm telling you. All right. I love you. Be safe. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
I still don't believe that. I still don't believe her. Nobody's having teeth pulled and cavities drilled with no Novocaine. She's just trying to, like, one-up me, I think. Who's this? Who says this? Deanna Kilpatrick says, you got slapped by a dentist when he was pulling your wisdom tooth because a reflex caused you to flinch and bite him a little? And he slapped you? Boy, that wouldn't happen today, would it? Nope. The air would be full of flying lawyers. Yeah. Nobody's gonna slap some kid now. Oh my gosh. I wanted to slap that guy when he showed me that shot, but he had a needle that big in his hand, so I was scared to slap him. You want to hear a great, I forget which book it's in, but you know the James Herriot books, All Creatures Great and Small? And I read that when I was a kid. That's why I wanted to be a veterinarian. That's why I actually went to school. I went to school to be a veterinarian. So actually I wanted to be a veterinarian and a taxidermist, so I could say either way you get the dog back. But I didn't become either. But that James Herriot book, All Creatures Great and Small, that's just still such a great book to read. I've read that several times through the years, and it's set before World War II, and he is a veterinarian in York, in England, and just out of vet school, and it's the stories of, it's just awesome. And that book was like, it was like the Da Vinci Code when I was a kid. I mean, that hit, it was just everywhere. And the sequels to All Creatures Great and Small were All Things Wise and Wonderful, All Things Bright and Beautiful, and The Lord God Made Them All. And those are the four. And so one of those four, I can't remember which one, but he's telling his life story, and he is going into the RAF in World War II. And so he has this little chip on his tooth, and he's heard horror stories about the military dentist. And so he goes to his own dentist to have that taken care of before he goes. But then when they see him, they say, nope, that's going to have to come out. And the story that he tells about that extraction, it's better than anything I told today. I mean, it is a great story. It's worth reading the whole book just to read that dentist story and how funny it is. But like to thank Dr. Manasco and thank you guys for being here. So it's Thursday, end of the week. We'll be back with you on Tuesday of next week with another Blue Plate special. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12:15 Central Time. That's what we are. Never know what you're going to get. Sometimes we talk about history. Sometimes we talk about dentistry. And sometimes we talk about each other. But we always have a good time here on Blue Plate Special. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.